All right, we are going to go through a really common use case for a Trello board. I call it a Kanban board. You may not be familiar with that term, but basically it's a to-do list board. If, keeping track of your tasks that go from to do, doing, and done. So let's get started with that. If you haven't already created a workspace in Trello, you'll be prompted to do that. If you were paying attention to the other lessons, you remember a workspace is kind of the way you group your board. So it's basically a folder. So I've got one right here, and I'm going to create a board. I'm going to call it Kanban template and put it in that team. It defaults to workspace visible, but I'm going to go ahead and set it to public just because I will eventually make this a template for you. You can make it private or leave it at workspace visible. If you haven't added anyone to your workspace, that is basically the same as private. So once you get here, feel free to, change the background if you want to do anything with that. You can go ahead and if you need to change a workspace, if you want to change any permissions on that, but probably not needed. Your lists here are probably going to be a format of to do, doing, and done. Oops. I'm also going to add a list called Backlog in here. And what I recommend doing is this list can basically be a dump of all of the things on your to-do list. So it could be, let's see, I need to paint the walls, teach dog how to shake, write a blog post. It can be whatever you want to be on there. If you're using this board with multiple people, you can assign yourself to a card, or if it's just you on here, you don't necessarily have to do that. If there's any specific due dates that these things need to happen by, you can add them in. But otherwise, don't worry too much about that. You're welcome to leave that blank. You can also use labels. I like to use labels for what type of category the tasks fall into. So if it's like related to my career, I might have something for that. If it's related to like household, like might have something to do with that. If it's like a side project, then it relates there. So you can easily, reorganize your tasks with those labels. Call that home too, and put that with side project. So feel free to add any details to these. Go ahead and fill them out. And if you need to attach any specific files, let's say I'm, working on something with Google Drive, I can easily go in and add the Google Drive power up. But I don't even need to do that, to be honest. And I'm going to save that really for another course. I could just paste that link right in here. Let's find a good blog post. Let's say, sure, yeah, create a CRM in Trello. This, I can just copy and paste that, bring that over here, paste it in. Don't even need to have a power up attached. It is right there. And now when I want to work on my blog post, I can just click into that and go straight to that post. If you want to add any notes about the tasks, you can do that here in the description. And if you want to style it a little bit, you can add a cover to it. Let's say for paint the walls, maybe I have a specific color I want to paint it, and I want it to be some sort of blue. You can put it up there and style that color a little bit, or style that card if you would like. The way I recommend using this board is each week have some sort of process where you make time to come in here and drag things over so you know what you're working on when, and then as you're working on them, drag them over to doing, and once you're done, move them over to done. But that just looked really boring when I moved it over to done. So what we're going to do is add the party emoji over here. I have another tool I use that lets me type things with keyboard shortcuts. So that's how I added it just now. But you'll have to, I think if you do like it's command, maybe it's control or option space, one of the shortcuts, or just go copy and paste a emoji. You can put that in there. And when you drag a card over to it, it will show confetti everywhere. So that's really fun. Feel free to add family members on here, and you can, easily filter the board where you only see cards that are assigned to you. So that's a nice way to, let multiple people use the board. And to keep this under 5 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and cut it here. But that is your basic to-do board.